Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahushai, Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahushai, Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim, Chakudash, the blessed, the apostles, and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the Ophir elect out there, you Akim, to Zadakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the priest Shimon. This week's topic is going to be entitled War Update, or something to the effect of, the chip has to happen before World War III. I think I'll go with that. A lot of escalation still going on over there in the Middle East. Iran versus Israel. Israel's Mossad agency is killing a lot of top Iranian government officials. But also, and it gets suppressed on the media, Iran is fucking Israel up too, with their ballistic missile program and aid from Russia and China, with jamming internet. Like, for example, people try to come in Iran and use Starlink to set up internet to infiltrate. China will give Iran the technology to shut down the internet and jam those interceptors. So it's definitely escalating, and it's surprising a lot of people in the U.S. government that how miscalculated this attack was. They thought they would decapitate Iran by taking out the supreme leader and a lot of the hierarchy. But, Iran have had decades to prepare. They had decades to prepare, man. And you could kill the supreme leader. By the way, the supreme leader is the head of the IRGC, right? The pretty much the military in Iran. But Iran also has a president, which is responsible for pretty much like the economy of things. And by the way, the supreme leader can vote on who the president should be. Now, even though you killed the Ayatollah, there's still an active president running the economy, and the supreme leader was replaced by his son, and you killed. So this son was more militant, he's more hardline. You killed his father, you killed his wife, you killed his children, and you injured him. And you think these people are going to want peace? Hell no, they're going to keep this thing going. So the Most High is staging this all to set up World War III. And now you could say, well, why hasn't World War III happened? Let me get into it. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 4, verse 33. It says, by measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times, and he does not move nor stir them until said measure be fulfilled. Right, so the reason we're not in World War III right now is because the RFID microchip, which is mentioned in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, and the 16th verse on down, is the mark of the beast. All right, and that has to be mandated on a global level, okay, before World War III could happen, because that's just the order of things. That's how the Most High set things up. So they're not gonna. First of all, you're gonna get World War III nuclear missiles before you get boots on the ground in Iran, okay? Because logistically speaking, Iran is far different than Iraq. And even when you try to invade countries like Iraq, and which they already tried that in the past, when the United States aided Saddam Hussein to invade Iran, it didn't work. If you look at Iran, the terrain is just, the mountainous terrain is very difficult, like to import tanks and import military and these sorts of things in that region. And they tried in Afghanistan, the United States, when they tried to invade Afghanistan, even the Soviet Union, these are like professional military people. They were getting their ass kicked by farmers. Why? Because the terrain was different. You know what I'm saying? So now try that with a population of 90 million and a military that's in the hundreds of thousands. It's just not going to go. You know what I'm saying? So when, things escalate to that next point, it ain't going to be no, boots on the ground, man. It's gonna be missiles, man. That's why the scriptures talk about that. This war is not gonna be fought like ancient world wars. All right, garments rolled in blood and men screaming. This is gonna be fought with fire. To back up the point again, this is the book of Lamentations chapter 3, verse 37. Who is he that saith, and it cometh to pass, when the Lord commanded it not. Right. So no man, nobody in this universe could go outside of what the Lord has deemed, what the Lord prophecies. Okay. So this is why there'll never be no peace in the Middle East, because that region is specifically spoke about in the scriptures as the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh Shaphat in the Hebrew, which means the Most High's decision or judgment, right? So the Middle East is a hotbed. You know, the Most High is putting it in the mind of these so-called Jews to try to take that region, and they can't. You know why? Because it's all of the Lord's program. The Most High is with this war right now. This is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1. To everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under heaven, right? So everything has its purpose. I don't give a fuck if you're walking in the middle of nowhere and a bird shit on your shoulder. That was planned years in advance with the Most High. Everything is predetermined. Okay? Let me jump down to verse 8. It says, a time to love and a time to hate. I thought the Most High doesn't hate. You know, the people in the Christian church, God don't hate. No, there's a time to hate. There's a time to love. It's all balance. The Most High deals with balance. The Most High deals with good, evil, life, death. Everything, yin and yang, man, is balanced with the Lord. So there is a time to love, but we're not in that time. All right? It says in a time to hate. Doesn't the scripture says the love of many shall wax cold? When all hell breaks loose, ain't gonna be no love, man. All right? You're gonna be trying to fend for your own. It says a time of war and a time of peace. And, you know, look, Trump, you know, he was emboldened after that extraction of Nicolas Maduro. They said, hey, he said, well, look, we took Venezuela, no casualties. Our special forces did their thing. All right. This is going to be the same with Iran. We're going to decapitate the head of the IGRC. We're going to tell the people to rise up, get a color revolution, and put in our puppet. That's what's the plan. They thought it was going to be like 4 days, and 4 days turned to 4 weeks. 4 weeks turned to 4 months. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because, again, the Lord is not making us no quick regime change thing, man. All right? Those people in Iran hate Israel and America. They call America the big Satan and Israel the little Satan. Okay? How you gonna bomb somebody, bomb their schools, bomb their houses, and expect them to just roll over and kiss your ass? Especially with how they see death. They see death as an escape, right? They're gonna get virgins or what have you. So they're very much militant. They're religious to their faith, and they're not gonna have what they call infidels take them over, man. See? And they have the Strait of Hormuz as leverage. And they got the backing of Russia. You know, Iran is pretty much Russia's Mexico. They right there. You know, if Israel and the United States seize Iran, then it's like, in addition to being part of NATO, it's like Russia's like, damn, we're surrounded. So they're gonna fight tooth and nail to make sure that shit don't happen. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles: Prepare war, wake up the mighty men." Let the men of war draw near, let them come up. And these are the type of scriptures you're going to be hearing a lot. Jeremiah, the 50th chapter. 49 to 51 going into the destruction of Babylon. All right. You're going to hear scriptures in Revelations going into woes. Specifically 3 woes, which is the 3 world wars. All right. Scriptures like Joel, scriptures like Isaiah 66 and 15. Scriptures like 2 Ezra 15 and 16, man. All right. We're in those times. Okay, and the scriptures tell you, scriptures like Matthew's the 24th chapter, so on. And the scriptures tell you that the days are going to be shortened for the elect's sake. Look at how this world is being run, man. Look at what the elect of the Lord is going through. So the Most High is speeding this thing up, man. This thing is happening in our lifetime, not 1,000 years from now, like this friggin' pagan idiot what's his name? Alazar said. All right, Guerrilla Hebrew. No, man, we're in this thing now. You know what I'm saying? We're in the time now of the Lord delivering, you know? I was watching a video with Mr. Beast, and he was going to the most expensive bunker busters. Nuclear fallout bomb shelters, you know? So why are people investing all this money into $1 billion into a nuclear bomb shelter? Because they know what time it is, man. And the scripture says what? Though they go all the way up into heaven or go all the way down to hell, we're going to dig their ass up and go grab them. You know? So and that's another thing that these bunker busters that they're building in America is not accounted for. They're not accounting for the laser beams from the chariots. All right? That's going to add even more to the heat. And fulfill the book of Malachi, the 4th chapter, and the 1st verse, where it says, it shall leave them neither root nor branch. Meaning a physical blade of grass, and also no family members are going to be left here in America. All right? When World War III happens and the Lord invades, the only way you're going to be delivered is on the chariots. That's it. That's the only way out of this. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Right, so invest, instead of agriculture, let's invest in our military, and that's what Iran did. That's what Iran did. Wait a minute, didn't Trump say Operation Midnight Hammer, we got rid of all of Iran's nuclear threats or whatever, but you in there now saying nuclear capability. So did you lie the first time, or are you lying now? Because they both can't be true, right? So they invested decades into building deep underground bunkers to store these ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles. All right, and it's really giving Israel and the United States headaches, man. So it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And these weaker nations, why were they once weak? Because at one time America was the only one that had that atomic capability. When they dropped Fat Man and Little Boy on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that put the world in fear. Okay? Now, these other weaker nations that don't have nuclear missiles, all right, either have access to it via allies or could cripple America in other ways. So let the weak say I'm strong, man. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Those are the angels. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Yahweh Shabbat, man. That's over there in the Middle East, all right? That's and that's where the high tension is. That's where all these superpowers. And what's different now, World War II opposed to this World War III that we in, is the nuclear missiles aspect, man. All right, the blessed missiles of the Lord are going to do their thing and cleanse the planet Earth because it needs it. Okay, so this thing is big, man. Every minute we're looking at updates as to what's going on, but we know, all right, going back to what I was alluding to earlier, all right, the missiles, the nuclear missiles at least, can't be shut off in America until that RFID chip is mandated, which is also in the works. Okay, it says, let the heathen be weakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Right, so this thing is major, man. All right, this thing is being covered by all different types of people. Everybody's trying to spin the narrative or what have you, but you could say this or say that. The only thing is this: you can't go outside of the prophecies of the Lord. Okay, you cannot go outside of the prophecies of the Lord. You know, and the Iranians are mentioned in the scriptures. They're Persians. Ezekiel the 38th chapter. Russia being a god unto them. Ezekiel the 16th chapter, the Carmenians. All right. So, hey, man, things are moving, man, and it's a beautiful thing. Let's remain diligent. Let's keep doing our shows. Passover's literally, what, 2 to 3 weeks? 2 weeks? Yeah, literally 2 weeks, man, right there. Okay. So, gotta remain in this thing. Gotta endure this thing. With that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'Hashem Ruach Kodash. It belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Zadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.